Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yes, Nathan Colin nkulamusizza. Gye baleko mukulu Nathan Kabanda Dennis. All right. Kale. Okay. Yes, baganda bange mwenna mbalamusizzaako mukyebaliko gye mutuusaako engalo. Omwaka tuli mu 2022 era bwe twogerera olunaku omwezi gwa January gusigazzaako ennaku mbale tuyingire mu February. Kitegeeza nti 2022 tujja kuba tumutambuddeko omwezi mulamba. Kansooke okulamusa ku Ali Bagi, Chris Dans, Eddie Masaka, Alafati Owesite, Faiza Isse, alaikum salam, Nathan Lei Wabwire Omukiwedo, Lubega Baagala Mugagga Masimbi, Saidi Magembe, Namayanja wa Bobby, Nakate Marion, Kigongo Joveria Faikeke. All right, so tugenda kubanga tweyungibwako omwogezi w'ekibiina deputy spokesperson owa National Unity Platform omukulu amanyikiddwa nga Waiswa Mufumbiro, abasinga ku mmwe mumanyi. Tugenda kuba tukwogera ku nsonga ez'enjawulo naddala ku biriwo mu ggwanga, ebigenda mu maaso mu kibiina, n'ebintu ebifaanana ng'ebyo. So abalina ebibuuzo bye mwagala okuba nga mubuuza mukulembeze mukulu, naye musobola okuba nga mubisindika ne mubiteekawo awo ne tulaba. Naye we twogerera abaana sofa bazzeeyo ku masomero and abaana bali mu process ya kuddayo ku masomero and naye waliyoko ku mawulire amalungi agava e Uganda, kubanga buli wobikkula buli wobikkula ebintu byaffe mu Uganda teriyo kalungi. Oh yes, abanaye munsonyiwe mukko, omugenyi waffe atuuse, Oweekitiibwa Waiswa Mufumbiro, mwogezi deputy spokesperson w'ekibiina kya National Unity Platform. Kakati ngenda kubanga muintroducinga mu studio ajje abeeko ne byetwogerako tukubaganye ensonga ku bigenda mu maaso mu Uganda. Ssebo mukama wange nsonyiwa okubanga nkulinzizza, but I hope otuwulira bulungi. Ompulira ssebo mukama wange?
Mpulira bulungi. I hope you also get me loud and clear.
Okay, that is good. Kansubire nti we shall mix Luzungu as well as Luganda, and then for the benefit of our all people. First of all, kansooke okwebaza okubeera ne quality ey'ekifaananyi ekirungi ennyo mukama wange, n'okuba nti
I hope they don't shut up the internet.
Yeah, unless if the internet lets us down. But I'm really humbled, because that is what builds the energy. That is what builds, the platform to be people are happy okuba ekifaananyi kiri clear, and I can testify from my side, and also the sound is loud and clear, which is really good. It's a very big achievement, trust me, and I hope going forward other members who come to engage on online platforms, they can also copy or borrow a leaf from you. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, Mummanyi bulungi agamba, my name is Mayanja Fazil, host of this show, live with Waiswa Mufumbiro. And Waiswa Mufumbiro is the deputy spokesperson of the National Unity Platform, as well as People Power. Ajja kutunyonyola his capacities and all this kind of stuff. And we are here to speak about different things that are happening in the country, and a few questions you might have about the party and things that are going on. So having Mr. Waiswa is a big honor, because what he is going to speak here, he will clarify. Some things might be the party positions, others might be because of, they might be his own ndowooza ye. So without further ado, I would like to Mr. Waiswa Mufumbiro or Lamuseko batuwuliriza, and say hi.
I want to say I'm very humbled by this interview. I don't know whether it is appropriate to call you legendary, because you are yet doing more work to fit. But as I said privately the other time, your work back here home is immensely appreciated. And I can attest to that, because I'm on ground and I speak to very many people, very, very many people. They find your work very recalibrating and inspiring. So, out there, you may feel you're not recognized, you're not doing enough, you're not having the influence. You may never feel the results and effect of your work individually, but I can tell you, as a person who is outside this side, you're doing a lot of work that is appreciated here, that also reciprocates the hard work that many people will do after listening to you, after your energy. So I want to respectfully thank you, Fazil Mayanja, and publicly for your time. This show has started a little bit late. Yes. Simply because you had to first go and do your personal work and then come and give other time to the struggle. If all of us, the elite, even here in Uganda, would do that, we would fall Museveni yesterday. You can do your work, but find another addition to the struggle for continuity and cohesion purposes. So I want to thank you. But I also want to thank Echoto family for hosting me this evening. It was, I did request on short notice, but I'm very humbled that you accepted to host me, and Fazil made yourself available, because in the coming days, as the National Unity Platform, we shall unveil our program for online pages, online TVs, that subscribe to the notion of change, and that subscribe to the National Unity Platform modus operandi. We also we are thinking critically of how to streamline communication management, such that we do not get the backdrops that we always get when there are lapses of communication, people going haywire on different occasions. So I want to thank Echoto family. I want to thank you for your hard work. And I want to thank the members of the diaspora as well, whose effort is immeasurably progressive to this struggle. Because I can tell you, Fazil, that for the first time in the history of Uganda, you can imagine I am discussing home affairs. I am home, but I'm being interviewed by a person who is in Europe. This simply defines how much we have moved forward to liberating our country, everybody getting involved and on board. So I categorically want to thank you, the members of the Choto, for making this happen. And the members of the diaspora, we immensely appreciate your continued effort towards the final fall of Genome 7.
All right. Thank you very much for that broad introduction. Uh, so, Mukulu Waiswa, now I do understand you are the deputy spokesperson for the National Unity Platform, and most people like I've stressed that point, and I would like to re-stress it. So much has happened since the so much has
Just give me a second.
okay. So Katononyo.
Yes, please.
Yes. So we understand that so much has happened since last year when we went to the polls, and we understand that it is now a year ever since Museveni stole the victory of the National Unity Platform. So I want us to bring us to speed. Ever since you got this position, what have you planned in terms of the communication strategies? How are you planning as a party in terms of fighting back to reclaim the victory that was stolen by Museveni and his people? And for people who are out there, they would like to know that: are we moving? Are we static? Or are we moving? Are we static? Or are we moving forward? Or are we a wee bit backward? Are we static, or have we achieved something for this period of time ever since our victory has been stolen and ever since you took on this position? So you can you can let us know, because I've seen so much people, especially the interviews I've seen you do. People are trying to make us look, or make the party look like it hasn't achieved anything. It's not moving anywhere. It's backward. Some have even gone so radical, saying that there is no one in Uganda that is fighting against Museveni. Literally saying like there is no opposition in the country. I wouldn't say that we are the opposition. We are the option. But some people go as far as saying that literally Museveni is enjoying his ride. So what's your take on those issues?
I want to appreciate you, first of all, for those very, very pertinent issues. And you bring my existence to this office can only be assessed by the public. I cannot make assessment of myself. But what I can say is that with my boss, Joel Senyonyi, we have drawn a lot of programs. For example, we want to create many Joel Senyonyis. We want to create many Waiswas, such that this information that we disseminate is not monopolized to our offices. We want to decentralize the information flow from the national level where it is to the grassroots. So we are looking at growing different factor trees that will later report to the communications desk. Of course, what is important about communication is that times have changed. I'm right now speaking to you. You are very far. We are equally. I'm in Africa. You are in Europe. So there is a new advancement of ICT technology. Now we have a young generation that is apt the task of understanding the dynamics of technology, but many of them also need capacity building. And as a young generation, you realize that we might be formidable to the cause, but as a generation, having been drawn to the leadership cradle by our generational leader, there are certain aspects where capacity must be built. And in that respect, the capacity, I think, where we must all enhance our energies and synergies is on communication, because communication gives the foundation and basis of what you believe in and where you want to project yourself as you move. So we are looking at recruitment of more people in the department to handle the different sects. The first interview I saw you did with the Secretary General, you tasking him on the issue of the website. We have since sat and looked at all those components that are information disseminating and how best they can move in the first of all, securing them that they're not tampered by the state, because the state, as you may realize, even our own civic education programs, they have started with their handwork to see that they are interrupted. So we want to secure more secure space on the internet as a platform, as the National Internet Platform, and advance our information on all those platforms that many of you have requested but have not been coming henceforth. To the public, I can assure you that I think in the next, by a fortnight, our teams are still working around the clock on all those handles, and I'm sure, and I can certainly tell you, that within a fortnight, whatever platform we must have as National Internet Platform will be up and running. This morning, we did have a meeting of our NOP Media executive team, and these are part of the endorsements that we have agreed upon. So it comes lively that at this time, I am addressing you on that particular matter. On the issue of, are we static? Are we moving? We are moving, definitely. I can tell you even the numbers are growing of support on ground. What is important and what we have been focused to is organizing the revolution. Organizing the revolution. Because Fasil, toppling a dictator is not a task that you will go through overnight. It is a task you will go through, first of all, with resilience, with planning, but most importantly, organization. One of the issues I have found that we must address as a people, first of all, even within us, is the desire to have virtual power. The desire to have virtual power. The desire to be the person calling the shots, even when there are no shots to be called. That has affected most people in the struggle. The desire to be the one around the president. Now, these are factors that have created internal disunity, where people have struggled to take up different roles without even having hindsight, and that has led to them clashing. But we have managed the same as well. We have different institutions, and we have set up different committees that handle different discrepancies. However, on the real question of have we moved and what we are doing to unseat and reclaim our victory, my brother Fazil, I can assure you that if we started this journey and it was a journey of 20,000 kilometers, I can assure you we have moved the 17,000 kilometers. The 3,000 kilometers remaining are very bumpy, they are dusty, they are deadly, but I can assure you we shall also persevere through them, definitely. Genome 7 has, when somebody says that it is like there is no opposition, that person must be living in a different country. For the first time, we have tasked Genome 7 on a number of issues, and our tasking, of course, is not the same. People were used to this old modus operandi of running on the streets, being tear gassed, but for the last 20 years, Mr. Fazil, those styles have not yielded results. And as students of that, we have been quite very mindful not to fall in that very category where we are doing the same things, because we believe you can only do different things. You can only do things differently from the original way things have been done to see a change, and that is exactly what we are doing. We need. We in the last year we had over 2,000 inmates. The numbers have reduced. That is a plus for the National Unity Platform. We have also managed to unmask Genome 7. Because Genome 7, what people forget, for the last 30 years, How did he have his first 4 years? He had his first 4 years by asking Ugandans that was the time he needed to prepare the country for other processes, and him as a soldier, he would go back and sit. He lied. After the 4 years, he sought for 5 years to organize processes of forming of the constitution. He lied. 1990 to 1995. When they passed the constitution, it had the age limit. It had the term limit. What did he do? He chose to break the term limit, and later also such that he would end the cap of having 2 terms, and later now in 2017 breaking the age limit. Now, he has been using the facade of democracy internationally, because we are in an international, we are a globe. Countries do not work in isolation, economically, militarily, health, even education. The budget of Uganda is 43 trillion, but I can tell you that half of that budget is financed by the donor countries through grants, donations, and other types of facilitation as we get it from the international community. This time round, I can tell you, we have been able to task even the international community through different platforms, inclusive of your platform. I have heard you, Fazil, so many times, ask people to rush and tweet throughout a tweet to those that are still helping the longevity of Genome 7. You have managed, as National Unity Platform, to disentangle the connectivity of the regime from many of their sources. Some are still working with him, but others have realized that actually the person we have been working with is not the person we are talking about. He is a different person. He's a dictator, he's an anarchist, he is a nepotic person, and that has been as a result of this new effort, as a new grouping that we have put up. And people will always castigate you before you even talk about the people on ground. Anybody who says that we are not working to his fall is lying to himself. Fazil, I'll begin with you yourself. You just left your job to come and do an interview. That is not going to pay you, but it is going to add a voice in removing the dictator. The problem our friends have, many of those that we are in this struggle together, they assume that there is a different type of magic that will be employed to defeat the dictator. These small things that we individually do, these small things that we do as a team, these small things that we think of and put into consideration, those protests, those write-ups that you do, these interviews, they have been of addition and they had never happened. I will ask you, Fazil, where you were the last 10 years, because Uganda has been in this kind of challenge. But you are now more involved, and that is as a result of the National Unity Platform and People Power, that people are now more involved back home in the affairs of their country. It was not like that then. It was very, very hard. And this is not only in the diaspora. I can tell you, it reciprocates even in the villages. Today, if you went to my village, you know, they had to arrest Bobby Wine in Luuka because of numbers. You know, they were preaching for a very long time the story that we are in urban areas. But we demystified that, and that is a plus for us, that they had to arrest your presidential candidate far away, over 120 kilometers in the deep state of Busoga. Now that informs you that the country is not on the same page it was. I have told you, out of your great work, National Unity Platform, you had an increment of over 2 million Ugandans on the voters register. Forget about the theft, forget about whatever happened, but you managed to convince 2 million Ugandans to be an addition to the voter register. And that explains the results we got. If you look at the about 3.2 million that Messenger was getting in the previous elections, and you see that the Abakama was supposed to give us 3.8, and we have a 54.9 as returned results of the National Unity Platform and win of Kyagulanyi Robert Sentamu, it is clear that the 2 million we were talking about were not virtual, they were real. And I want to tell you also that if you look at the way, if you are in Uganda today and you're talking about, we are no longer opposition, we are nearly a rebel outfit. Let me repeat this. The National Unity Platform is no longer treated as opposition. It is treated as a rebel outfit. In Kampala today, to counter the National Unity Platform, it's the military. It is the police. Now, when you're tackling a dictator, I have told friends, and this is my personal opinion, sometimes you want him to bring out all his best. Once he brings out all his best, then you will know how to handle each of them. On the campaign trail also, we were handling the Lede Cream, those that they thought were the best in the Uganda police. But by the time we came home, all of them had been, there's no seniority that could explain their existence because they had been put to book, they had handled the campaign very wrongly, and it led to the sacking of the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Sabit Mzee, simply because he could not torture Ugandans. And for me, that is a plus. We have military leaders, including the head of military intelligence, on a sanctioned list by the United States. Now, somebody who does not understand when we call about what we call sanctioning an officer under the Magnitsky Law, I heard you gave a great lecture about that, is that this person is declared persona non grata in all other areas apart from his home jurisdiction, where they think he still exists because of his might and power. But elsewhere, it means that he does not have liberty. And this does not only stop at him, it goes up
Mm.
and also,
Yeah.
and also we look out for the properties that have been attained by those people. In Uganda, there is massive corruption, but this corruption still is not, it does not trickle down to the country. They export what they have stolen in
All
terms
right.
of money, in terms
Yeah.
of infrastructure development. And to us now that we have reached that level where people are not allowed to invest the loot that they have had, then it gives you a red line for where you're going. And I can
All
assure
right.
the country we are in progress, and we shall definitely remove this gentleman.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that answer. There is also now I would like to go so much. So most people are saying that you can intermix Simuko with Luganda, but so far we are doing good, which is good. And I wanted to ask something. There is headlines or stories, cover stories that the New Vision has been running. The entire week about a crisis in the National Unity Platform, a crisis about this and that in one way or the other. And I think you have been following these particular stories. And of course, His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Sentamu has spoken widely about this particular issue, as well as your boss, Mr. Senyonyi. And the party position, of course, is well known. But I would like to emphasize on this particular point, for you to emphasize to us, the party position, number one, and number two, why would you think the government is coming up with such headlines in their own paper that are unsubstantiated and things like that? But also to have pushback on this particular issue. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you very well.
Yeah, and also to have pushback on this particular issue. Some people, the freedom of whatever freedom of speech activists, especially on different social media platforms, Twitter and Facebook, they had pushback towards the party, saying that if NUP, cries that they are being gagged by that Museveni is gagging the media, to prevent the party, to prevent especially a person like you to be hosted on different TV shows or radio shows, to prevent Bobby Wine's music to be played, and also different articles that are being written by the National Unity Platform not to be published in different newspapers. And then you blame Museveni for gagging media as well as gagging journalists. But what the pushback people are putting out there, the freedom of speech, quote unquote, activists, they are saying that isn't this another form of gag on the media? Like, just because New Vision is not writing stories that are not in the best interest of the party, then this is the National Unity Platform. So now you are fighting back and saying that, okay, now this is propaganda. But when Museveni complains about the monitor, we say, oh yeah, monitor is on the right side. I don't know if I'm understood very well. I'm being understood very well.
I
So you get the idea, but also there is pushback that
now
that we should let people write. We should let journalists write whatever they think is right for the public to consume, and let the public decide. So, what would be your take on that particular matter?
What I enjoyed in my law class in criminal law was the notion of actus reus and mens rea. Mens rea is the mind, and actus reus is the action that you put after having a mind of what you want to do. If I want to kill you, Fazil, I leave home when I have thought about killing you. Then I will have the act of having the knife and then stabbing you. Now, the New Vision's mens rea is to project hopelessness in the members of the struggle with fake news and deceit, such that, Fazil, this government has more money than we have. This government has guns, we don't have guns. This government has anarchy, it has the state. What we have is people power. The reason I can face you now and speak whatever I want to speak is not because I'm not phobic to what happened to me, but because I am speaking for the people of Uganda. I am not speaking for Genome 7. So I am protected by the people of Uganda. Now, what Museveni does is that small rope is to isolate you from your protection. And as he's isolating you from your protection, he is flashing you with money this side, he's flashing you with cars, he's flashing you with niceties, such that when you break away from the oppressed people. And the oppressed people could no longer have trust for you to give them direction of what you're supposed to do. Genome 7 is very scared of the second phase of this revolution because he saw how far we went with the first phase. The first phase of Mission 2021 is the one we just concluded that he robbed an election. You saw how much he saw resilience of us running a militaristic election that had never happened before. There is no way we would have prepared for such an ugly election. But we went in, our hearts were solid, our mind was solid, we were looking for the promised land. And that is what we are doing. Now, the New Vision's background, as I have said, and why we are so, it is first of all fake news. No newspaper has liberty to publish fake news. If you want to publish fake news, then you classify yourself as a tabloid. We are not talking about the red paper. We are talking about a government newspaper, the New Vision. We are simply saying they are supposed to work beyond that. Let me juxtapose the two stories that they published. The first story they published on Monday was saying that we have ideological differences. Ekigambo ideological kitegeeza nti tufunyemu obutakkaanya mu nkola y'emirimu, nti abamu baagala kola gya musolesole, fe abalala twagala kola gya maanyi. Ye yali first story ya New Vision. Second story neekomawo nti bannanga ate kati bakayanira sente principal yagamba bamuweeyo emitwalo asatu. It is simply that era Don Wanyama kubanga kati yafuna kumukisa okufuna ku ssente kati ng'omusaala naye bw'oyogera ku Kyagulanyi nti asabye emitwalo asatu olabira ddala ng'abantu bano they are not apt to whatever they are doing, they are not apt to whatever they are saying, but they are apt to creating hopelessness in society such that we are not cohesive. Because leaders here in Uganda that claim to be in the opposition are not united with us. But the people are united. And General Museveni has gone out in those other political parties and outsourced them to also attack us. So the only backstop that we have, the only defense as members of the National Unity Platform we have is people power. And that is why General Museveni will do everything to project the National Unity Platform as naive, as hooligans, as ignorant, and then later they will come up with those fake stories, such that there is that confusion in the critical mass, and the critical mass stops to follow us. But to sum up what you said, we are very positive to anybody who criticizes us, and we shall reply to that criticism positively as long as it comes with a good heart. But one who is working to our collapse, we shall not. We shall not. We shall come out hard, and we shall come out hard on them. Nobody has liberty against the National Unity Platform to publish fake news, to publish blackmail, and also to insult us. Nobody should have that monopoly. We shall definitely fight back.
Okay, so I know your picture is a bit static now. I think it's a problem with your network that side.
Yeah, I can realize my network is now being, as you can see.
It will be all right.
But here, once I was on Baba the other time, they switched off the Fazil 4 times. It's a joke. 4 times power was switched off. When I'm on talk shows, the presenter is called more than 5 times at every break on how to manage us and the truth we are speaking. I don't go on CBS. I've been there once. But I am domicile of Rubaga. But because we are not a platform, so it is not business as usual, even in the media.
All right. So now, still in the news, because given that we are talking about these stories, there is another story that ran in the Daily Monitor. I don't know if you followed it. Can you hear me?
I am getting you loud and clear.
Yes, there's another story that was in the Daily Monitor on the 16th of January that said that there was inside attempts to prevent influential NUP diaspora from disintegrating. Now, I of course I follow Honorable Mr. Robert Kyagulanyi, sorry, His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu's Facebook page, and it was quite fascinating that, of course, he did not say anything. Okay, they clarified in the press conference, but of course, he did not post about this particular story, if I'm not mistaken, like the same way he posted about the New Vision story. What does this mean? And is there any sort of disintegration within the NUP diaspora, or something that we don't know of, and maybe you could clarify about it?
We are not deceitful people. And we are not a collection of people who do not discuss issues. Our teams in the diaspora, as you might be aware, have been running this from the time of the inception of People Power. They were directed as coordinators, and later we evolved into National Unity Platform. Therefore, we have members who, up to now, did not evolve into the National Unity Platform party. There are those who claim to have remained People Power, and we have been having discussions of all those teams to see how we integrate and organize them further. And there has also been an issue on how we create more cohesiveness within the leadership of the diaspora. Because as you realize, we have teams in the UK, we have teams in the US, we have teams in the Netherlands, we have those in Asia, and there has not been a fitting communique between all these diaspora teams to have them harmonize on how they run their own affairs. But that is something we are handling internally, and as you have heard, we have handled that internally, and very soon I believe the president is going to have a communique to the members of the diaspora. He's doing a lot of consultation, and I would not want to be the one at this time to come and break news of what our consultations have been about. However, it is our process, it is our DNA that our leader does consultations on all matters. And in the process of these consultations, of course, he will get different views of different people, which I will not qualify to be disintegrated, but I will qualify to being a process of consultation to get everybody's mind on board, because this is not about him. This is about you guys.
Okay.
There are questions also on the issue of elections. In the diaspora, and I think that was cured by a report. And I believe also that in the coming days and weeks, the president is going to come up with an informed position on and communicate on the diaspora. But
All right.
there is also what all of us see, and I don't want to sweep it under the carpet. There are a lot of internal disagreements that have become public, and I think, and I would want to use this opportunity to ask you members of the diaspora that your cohesion is very vital. We cannot lose any soldier. We cannot lose any soldier with egocentrism. Let's forget our egos. Let's practice humility, because the biggest force in the world is unity. And General Museveni will use all his forces to divide us.
All right.
Let us struggle as a people to be together. So I want to say that the diaspora is not disintegrated, but there is a lot of wide consultation, and probably some people are privy to a few of those other ideas that come up and term them as disintegration. But very soon, the president will come out with a communique.
All right. So while I usually, walk around the streets of Facebook and Twitter, you see, what is interesting about social media is that the way people view Uganda on social media is completely different from how people who watch TV and maybe who listen to radio view the events in the country. It's really interesting. And most of the times, before TV and radio airs anything, on social media, it has already made rounds, as well as all these platforms and all these platforms. And what I've seen of recent is that actually most news organizations, most media companies in Uganda are now actually picking news from these social media platforms. The reason that's why I'm raising that particular situation is that there are some things that happen on social media that might not break it into the mainstream news in Uganda. For example, if you look at there is something that is happening, and it really discomforts me as a person, and I think it's misleading, and some people as well, that leads to, for example, what you termed it to as fake news. Because if we say that there is fake news that is coming from the state in form of propaganda to mislead the struggle and to mislead Ugandans, would you really say that the same is not happening within the party, number one? Because we have seen situations and scenarios where we see people who, even some of them, have positions, or some of them have been seen with the president himself, that is Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu. They have been seen with him, and these are the same people that come and make statements on social media, blackmailing, number one. Number two, also, soiling leaders people's names. For example, if you come to members of parliament, someone says that, oh, so and so, this member of parliament is no longer part of the struggle. This particular councillor is no longer part of the struggle. Oh, this one is this and this, blackmail. And of course, all these people, they get following, and they have people who watch them and listen to them. But we rarely see the party coming out to address these particular issues and giving a stand on such issues. For example, if you look at a gentleman known as, no, there is our brother, Comrade Segirinya, when he was arrested. Uh, Most people were supposed to be, we were all expected to be sympathetic with him. But as sympathy dried out, people now started saying that the gentleman must have ate Museveni's money, or things, such allegations. And now, when you do that, it creates some sort of doubt within the party. Sorry, within the supporters of the party, and it splits. It splits the camp. Some saying that yes, Segirinya did this, or some saying he did not do it without evidence. Now, when the party Mr. Waiswa will be back a bit. So just bear with me for a few. And I'm just trying to elaborate a point, and I hope he gets it. So we're going to get him back, ladies and gentlemen. Mukulu Waiswa, just click on the link and you'll be back in the studio. As we wait. So for those of you who have questions for Mr. Waiswa, you can just post them there, and I will be reading them for you. You just have a few minutes, like 30 minutes left for the show. Naye tugenda kulaba what next. Okay, so okay. Mr. Waiswa's network, of course, has a problem, but let's see. Hello? Hi.
My name is Leon. And
Hold on. Yes, please. I'm not yet aware about it. Hold on. I'm doing a. Okay. Yes. Mm, yeah. Mm, yeah. Exactly. Uh, yeah. I'm on live, so I can't say the name. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know. So I'm gonna throw those questions to him. Uh, uh, okay. Okay, I'm going to save your number and then I'll let you know. You're most welcome. Okay. Anyway, swad some studio. Mikulu, okay. Those of you abaina kyemwagala okubuuza Mr. Waiswa, Pamuka, our class monitor, you can provide the link to the people down there, and the people can just come into the studio. Those who have a question, I'll be jotting the questions down, and then when Waiswa comes live, we shall be able to throw the questions back to him. So Okay, so Mukulu Waiswa, please click on the link. Pamu, give people the link. Okay, now let me give you the number for those of you who have questions. Abene limwagala okutesa, you can just say here. You can use English or Luganda, whatever is good for you. Even in Swahili, any language that you're comfortable speaking, it's okay. Mukulu Waiswa oba bamuwambye banaye simanyi bayinza okuba they might have okuba nti bamuwambye. Okay, so the number is there to call, guys. If you have anything to say, if you have a point to make, you can just make your point by calling that particular number. Tomorrow we shall be having Mosh to discuss the president's Facebook to talk about Gundiani. Posts z'omukulembeze z'abakoze mu week tujja ne tuziyitamu ku kyoto every Sunday. We come and speak about or talk about posts that are being made by His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, as well as those that are made by the party. So we look at those posts that have been made in the entire week and come here and break them down with Mosh. So we shall be with Mosh tomorrow, inshallah. Hopefully he will be around with us. And tujja kubanga tulaba what to do from there. So network is still a problem with Mr. Waiswa Mufumbiro, naye tugenda kulaba ekiddako. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Nico from Atalanta. Kubye.
Yes, bwana Nico.
Kakati webale omulimu gwokola nsima omulimu gwokola ka studio kaka tuli eno tulayengera naye webale nnyo tuleetera omukulu waffe oyo ekibuuzo ky'obadde obuuza nange kyembadde nninze kubanga bagamba awali omukka tewabula muliro, but at the same time tumanyi muno twafuna twajjirwa babuloga. Omanyi Kyagulanyi yajja naye yaleeta opportunities nyingi. And one of those opportunities yaleeta ze z'okufuuka buloga ofune ku ssente. Kati abaana buli omu yali alina akasimu akali smart ng'alinako ne ku data ng'amugoberera ng'akwata live ng'afuna abagoberezi nga buli omu anoonya content nga buli omu anoonya content gy'akuuma abagoberezi. So naye waliwo akasajja awo oba ka kansala oba ka member of parliament oba kaani era nga woogambye kabeeraawo ku kitebe weekali tukalaba mu bifaanani okalaba mu meeting ezimu oluusi omulaba n'abakulu naye omusajja yalumba mpuuga nga buli wadda ku live ng'akuba mpuuga banaye nga ngamba kano akasajja byekoogera kabijjawa naye ate ng'okalaba kasajja kali legit mukamanyi buli omu akamanyi ku kitebe tukalaba naye nga kakuba mpuuga nga kali oluusi ngeneŋŋaawo olumu ngenda kulaba mpuuga nga kakuba ebikonde mu meeting kubanga kalumba kamukuba bbeeya nnako nga kamukuba kati my point is this. If there is anything worth addressing, why isn't it addressed within? And because if a guy like that comes out in public to humiliate such a big player in NUP, Mpuga is a big player. He's a vice. He's a deputy. and somebody comes out, somebody we know that actually hangs out with the big guys, comes out and begins to publicly humiliate a big player. Where is the right platform? What are the procedures of NUP? What are the processes NUP has put up to address such internal conflicts? Either between that guy, if that guy has personal issues that he's addressing online against Mpuga, how do we reconcile those conflicts? Yeah. Because this guy, obviously, he has a following, and his following is kind of he has a following which follows him because they know he has inside information, because they see him rubbing shoulders with people who we love. So if this guy is actually damaging us, can we say he has credibility because of the fact that the very fact that we see him with our guys, or should we dismiss him? So we were in a dilemma. Should we dismiss what this guy is saying? How can we dismiss it when we actually see him with the guys? So it was so hard for us. It was painful. And we thought maybe he will do it once and then they'll take him down and put him in a meeting. It didn't happen. But every time that guy came, Mpuga. Abantu ngabo bebasinze otukola obubi. I don't care whether Mpuga alina kyali kyesimanyi, naye omuntu okujja ku internet n'olumba omuntu gwenjagala, omuntu gwendaba alwanirira eddembe lye tunoonya, ali ku cause, nojja n'omulumba kuba teri ali perfect. Nze kankubulire, teri ali perfect. Ne waba Bobby, nze ndi ku Bobby, whether he has, because I know he has weaknesses, ate saagala na kuzimanya. Mumanyi omutima gwe kuva dda, bino ebintu abyenyigiddemu kulw'abanaku, kulw'abatesobola, naye omutima gwe kuva dda guli ku mulamwa. Ayinza okuba alina weaknesses ze ng'eziyinza okuyingira mu struggle nga ye, naye tekimu disqualifying kubeera nga ye muntu omutuufu okulwaninga cause eyo. Era kino mmaliriza, I am going to say this. Buli muntu yenna, if these things come out to be true, nti waliwo abantu ababikaringa, abagezaako okwemulugunya, abagezaako okweyawula, abagezaako okuleeta conflict. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a deputy. I don't care if you're a small MP. I don't care. Newabeerawo omuntu eyakuggyako ssente bw'okuwa ekifo ky'okwesimbawo nga yakikola nga ye Okono n'erinnya lya pate, kati nga bivaayo. Ebintu ng'ebyo tebigenda twawula ku NUP. Ate we bitwawula ku NUP oba ne bitwawula ku people power, tebijja kutwawula ku Kyagulanyi. Tujja kukwata Kyagulanyi waffe tumwawule ku NUP, tumwawule ku people power, tumutwala awalala tukole ekirala. Naye nga tulemera ku Kyagulanyi. Kyagulanyi is the core of what we are pursuing. Kyagulanyi is the core. Ebisigadde matabi tujja gatemako. I hope those are not true. But buli muntu yenna yali eyo yeesudia ng'alowooza nti ajja kutwawula ku Kyagulanyi, tekijja kubaawo. Tujja kubeeyawulako mmwe tusigale ku muti Kyagulanyi, mu amatabi tubatemeko. People power, abantu bonna mu nsi yonna, Uganda and diaspora, tuli ku Kyagulanyi. Abasigadde mutwegasseko bwegassi. Ffe twegatta dda as a nation nga Kyagulanyi watero bagamba. Abantu beegatta dda, ffe twegatta dda era twegattira ku Kyagulanyi. Abasigadde oba baawukana bagende, naye ng'ebintu ebyo sikkiriza nti birimu eggumba. Those are rumors and propaganda, and some of those people abali mu party abaasooka okuleeta propaganda ono balina okubatuuza wansi babawe public statement, twagala zifulume ku bantu abo, like that blogger yasinga okukola damage ono. Era a New Vision eyinza okuba ekwotinga ako kaggayi akakwatanga essimu mu nnyumba yaako. Olumu poliisi yajja ne kadduka ne ku live. I remember kaddukako ne ku live. That guy and any other person like him, we need a public statement from NUP about such people. Kubanga beba sources of damage. Naye ffe, we are Kyagulanyi, team Kyagulanyi forever. Ugandans and diaspora tetuva ku Kyagulanyi. Abatuvaako mugende. I love you, my brother Fazil. God bless you. Bye bye.
God bless you too. Thank you very much for those videos, and I hope Mukuru Waiswa is listening as well as he tries to come back. Kubanga, he had a problem with the network. All right. Okay. Okay. Hello. Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Webale kuwuliriza ssebo.
Nze nyina ensonga yange nyangu ntono sigenda lwawo.
Ssebo.
Mbadde nsaba omukulu Waiswa Mufumbiro. Akoze nuufu nga nuufu erina ngeri ki gyekwata ku ba MPs. Nakyogerako ebigambo bye tumanyi nti ebimu sinabyo. Kujja waliwo MP bamuyita Kalyambo ayina ebigambo n'agamba mbu nuufu egamba mbu Museveni alina kyekoze ng'abantu bakyali makomera abaana bafuna. Waliwo ne MP omulala ow'Ennakifuma yali ku live n'agamba struggle yagwa akaseera kakukolera abantu. Twadressinze tutya nga NUP adressinze tya abagundi aba MP abavayo ne boogera ebigambo kubanga babyogera ku live. Sigamba nti babyogera mu kyama, babyogera ku live n'olaba nti yabadde ku mukulu n'ayogera ebigambo nga NUP erina nkola ki ey'okukwasaganya abakulu abavuddeyo ne boogera ebigambo bwebyo.
Struggle yaggwa.
N'ayimirira ku live n'ayogera kati kaseera kakolera abantu bange naye nga video erikodingiddwa ne training ku video. Nze manyi ekyandeeta mu struggle nga nze omuntu teri muntu asobola kunzija mu struggle. Tola His Excellency yatugamba nti struggle esinga omuntu yenna naye waliwo abantu baffe abagoberera abakulembeze baffe be boogedde. Ekigere nti nga yo NUP eyimiriddewa okukwasa empisa aba MP baffe kubanga waliwo abamu nga bali banoonya mirukaadi nga baagifuna. Kigere kyokyo tukikkirize.
Kitegere ekibuzo kyo kale
twagala
kale kitegere. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay. All right. There's a brother who called from UK and I picked him Simtadeku live. But brother, if you can call back again, the one from Conservative Party, and give your opinion publicly, it would be very helpful. I remember I picked your call, but like in a private manner. So, but I got the points anyway. So if you're still watching, you can call again and put the views out there, because it's not only Waiswa that is watched. It's not only Mr. Waiswa that is on, but so many other people. And by giving those suggestions, we can be helped in one or the other. Thank you. All right. So, Kanzanyono.
Anati ekibuuzo kyange kiriwo ekiti. Waliwo abantu abamu bo balowooza oba Kyagulanyi.
Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Hold on just a minute. Let me just connect to my... Yeah, you can speak now. We can hear you, boss.
Yeah, hi. As I said, my name is Leon. I'm a British Ugandan, and I was just wanted to check as a Conservative member, and I wanted to check why Bobby Wine doesn't want to come to UK, and if there's any reason regarding a statement I had. I think some Ichuli, some guy watching Uganda called Ichuli, the Isma. He said there's a guy in Birmingham who I think is the reason why Bobby Wine has been refused to come. But that was, if that's the case, I think that was long time ago. Bobby Wine's view has already changed in terms of, I think, LGBT. But then I think as we can find, I can find a way to find out why, and if possible through the member of the parties, a lot of people with as I work with Minister of Justice say, we can access, try and find out even through Pretty Patel, if just the visa is the problem, or find out the bottom of the line, why the reason why he can't come, and then we can make sure he come and visit us, because we need to see him here as well.
Okay.
And on top of that, as I said, I think one of your caller from USA, people within the party always, people use Bobby Wine's name for anything. When you open it, actually they're not talking about Bobby Wine. I mean, you can't help it, but there are some people within the party that think the views they have is just completely out of the equation. It doesn't really support the struggle. So how are we going to fix that? Especially if they're within the party.
What do you mean?
That makes sense. I don't know if they're councillors or...
Like, do you mean like whenever...
I mean, I think they're a member of the NUP, but I can always see them within the meeting when Bobby Wine is addressing his MPs or the nation. You see, he's always there, but then there are certain things they come up with really that doesn't really help the struggle, because when you make a statement and you don't have a foundation or any reason, if accountability, in other words, people just utter nonsense, and then we should have facts before we come up and start saying things regarding NUP or people have been arrested or people within our struggle. We need to have facts, because that's the way the law works. If you don't have any facts, just shut up. Otherwise, people pick up. The enemy always pick up from the loopholes or the information we give them. That's how they make their foundation, and they end up saying, "Oh, we are falling apart." We are not falling apart, but I think we need to. The NUP has to improve on that as well.
All right. Okay.
But more importantly, it's about Bobby Wine. For me, that's I really would love to see. We can find out for
sure. I will link you up with Mr. Waiswa as well, and some other people, and then you can see what we can do.
Please, yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Yes, Mukulu Waiswa Bangambye, his phone has abruptly went off, but he is going to be back shortly. Yeah, his phone went off abruptly, unfortunately, but he's going to be back. Okay. Hello? Yes, sir.
Finally, today I get through on your line.
Yes, sir.
Congratulate myself. And thank you for the service and what you do. My name is Michael.
Nice to hear from you, Michael.
Today, I must appreciate that you were spot on. Oftentimes, I've been watching the interviews, and I must say, I'm sorry to say this. I know you will take my criticism right. I must say sometimes you're not spot on the questions that are relevant. Today, you were very, very, very spot on. And I was wishing that this interview would go for something like 3 or 4 hours, because we're getting enlightened, and I must appreciate.
Thank you.
Now, the issue about the last question that you asked, it was very, very paramount for us to understand, because I think Jeff has been teaching about this. It's only that maybe he's teaching in Luganda, and some people don't understand Luganda, but there are people that will come to do their propaganda just because they want views and get money on YouTube. One. There are people that will want to do that propaganda to maybe secure someone. For example, they may say, Mubiru is dead, he has been tortured, he is dead, he has been taken to Mulago until the security brings him out. And there are people that just want to be, okay, there are people that say the truth so that they deter the effect of what would be happening. I'll give an example to that. There was one guy who alerted us on the bombs. There is a guy who alerted us on the Jambia. There is a guy who alerted us on the school fires. And they happened, but it's just because we didn't take them as serious. Now, it is us to use our knowledge and understand. But then there are also those NRM propagandists that use it as an avenue to portray NUP as propagandists and liars. Now, I don't know how we're going to do that, how we're going to deal with that. Because if you come up and you say 7 is dead and every region is happy, people are celebrating, they're slaughtering cows, and they find out the guy is alive. I mean, it portrays the party in a bad position. I don't know how we're going to do that. Okay. I know that you are not so much patient.
No problem.
With us to talk for.
No, it's all right. I will address it to Mr. Waiswa. Good enough, he's back in studio now, and hopefully I'll throw some of these questions to him, and we can continue the conversation. Okay, so let me. Okay, I'll hear from you.
No, before you take me off, I was working with Pastor Mwanguzi on how to work in the system. But Pastor Mwanguzi, I think he has now concentrated on the Busoga. I would like Waiswa to address it if at all the structure has changed or we are working in a rubber double style.
Pardon, what's the last thing you said?
I was working with Pastor Mwanguzi, because he was one of the mobilizers of the Eastern, and I am from Bali, so I wanted him to take the message to Bugwere, to the Buked region, basically Bugwere, Utaleja, and Gishu, and Bamasaba region, but it was only once, and he hasn't done that yet. He only went there once, and he did a very, very good job. I don't know whether he has now been restricted to only Busoga or the work is still on, because he had done a good job.
Okay, good.
One thing I can mention about that is because he's a representable figure. Now, when we go with our hair on the head, people in Bugwere Butaleja see us as nuisance. So when we take somebody like Pastor Mwanguzi or somebody, it makes.
Sure. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah. All right, guys. Now I'll stop the phone calls for now, and for those of you who have managed to have your questions through, we shall come back to them. Mr. Waiswa, some people are saying that now I'm really split on this particular issue. I don't know what to do. Some people say you should mix with Uganda. Some people say we do not speak enough English, and so they miss out on a lot. And I don't know. I think you should strike the balance in one way or the other. You should find you as a person, you should strike the balance. So by the time we left, whereby I think you had some technical difficulties, and I hope you grant us more time to address most of these issues. I was trying to make a point, and this is something that has come up but from different people. It is whenever I was taking questions here, that there is too much information out there on the internet, on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and at times the information comes from people who are supporters of the struggle, who are supporters of His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, who are supporters of NUP, and who are supporters of People Power. And we have seen people making claims that are unsubstantiated without any evidence, saying, for example, maybe soiling people's names, especially people like Impuga, so many people, especially MPs. They have been a subject of too much propaganda, too much attack that we have been seeing of late. And people's frustrations are that, of course, the party usually, they will make a statement, but at times the statements are abstract. And at times, maybe it might be a communication strategy for the party in one way or the other. But still, it leaves the people hanging on what the party position on the matter is. For example, if someone that has been attacked is the Honorable Matthias Mpuga, or if it is Kazime Bashir Mbazira, and these people's names are not mentioned, then it lacks, for some people, it lacks clarity. And it actually makes it look for some that the perpetrators of these things, or these words, or whatever, these things, I don't know how we can describe them, but the perpetrators of this sort of propaganda, they claim that the posts are being written in their favor. But also there is the idea that the party, usually the position that takes, that they say that, okay, do not mind about that. Like, those ones are time wasters and stuff like that. But unfortunately, having worked on Facebook for quite a while now and social media, usually social media, that's not how it works. It works with clarity. For example, if Waiswa has been attacked, that Waiswa ate money, some people think that the only thing that can erase that is if Waiswa comes and clarifies that, look here, guys, I never ate any money. You see, that's the only way it can be erased, right? And it goes on record. But unfortunately, I think people are not getting that from the side of the party. So, Mr. Waiswa, how should we... and I'm getting some feedback from that side. I think something is playing, a radio or something. So I gave you that brief background just for you to understand where I'm coming from and have this conversation about this particular issue. So for you as a party, and as a spokesperson, because you're in the Department of Communication and all this kind of stuff, so what is the best way? Why is it that it has always... why has it been a wee bit difficult for the party to address these cases head on? Or at times maybe the party has decided to ignore them and then they escalate? Or why is it that why can't the party maybe handle these issues from the inside before they explode to the public? Because whenever they explode to the public, they really give a bad face, and to the people it doesn't really look good. And it is left for us bloggers who have little information of what's going on in the party to come and make clarifications, especially for things that we don't know of what is actually happening. So what would be your take on that entire thing?
Well, it comes back to the very question you were asking before we went off. I'm apologetic to the fact that I went off, but you can realize that I've even changed the setting. I did not want to do this in the car, but I had to go and work on other settings and such that I'm up and running. That is always expected sometimes. Now, propaganda. Positive and negative propaganda. The background of this revolution is for everybody to have an empowered voice. And that the reason why we looked at everybody having an empowered voice is that you could not suppress one voice. Because if you have one voice, like you saw what happened in Arua, General Museveni anticipated that we had not organized early enough, and therefore he could easily isolate Kyagulanyi as an individual, either kill him, either it is about isolation. The dictatorship in this revolution, for them, their biggest weapon is isolation. Isolate Waiswa from Fazil, isolate Bobby Wine from the masses, and that has been projectively done with all the other systems they have been using. Now, on comrades, I want comrades to realize that many of us back here are struggling to fulfill the promise to Ugandans of removing Genome 7. And that we are doing. We are doing that, and we shall do it extremely to the last extreme. We will go to the last extreme that it may even become very difficult to have these conversations. But the purpose why I came to give this information is because this should be the yardstick of how we move. Once we are disunited, it is very expensive for even the leaders to have time to think for the revolution, because you are firefighting.
When people are fighting out there, it is, and we have to reply, it is called firefighting, and it is never good in a revolution. Point number 2, we always make statements wholesomely simply because we do not we don't do it wholesomely. We do it wholesomely simply because we are not agreeable to handling individualistic problems. If Waiswa has a problem, if he has faced a challenge, even when we are addressing the challenge of Waiswa, we don't look at it with immediate medicine. We project, because everything that happens gives us an insight of how big it can be worse. So when we are coming back with a cure, we come up with a cure that has longevity. That is not short term. So it would not be right for a political party to come on clarification of a particular point where it has not created a lot of mistrust, to come and begin naming names. You see this one, you are saying it is going to compel you, the state will compel you every time. Instead of coming with progressive statements, you will come to explain positions of your people. We have said, era tusigala tukyogera nti tubalabira ku bikolwa byabwe. Tetwagala kwogerera buli muntu. Tulabira buli muntu.
Just there, is this a weakness within the party? For example, when we have councillors that we gave cards to big flag bearers for the party, and maybe they are misbehaving, don't you have like some sort of code of conduct or things of that sort? Because there is also a question that someone here raised, saying that there are some MPs that are actually saying that sawa y'ebyobufuzi yaggwa kati sawa yakolera bantu. And someone quoted an MP from Nachifuma and another MP that if you struggle, right, I don't want to quote verbatim, but he was like implying into if you struggle for now, it's okay to be the body, now it's okay to kolera bantu. And you know, maybe that could be positive for the party or what. I don't know what you would make of that statement. But when we see different MPs making such statements, and then we are seeing councillors making such statements and stuff like that, is it like a weakness in the party, or is it like you know, something is being done on the matter?
For example, let me tell you on Rubaga. Let me give you a very good example of Rubaga. We instituted a commission of inquiry. I was the secretary of that commission of inquiry. It was led by Honorable Aisha Kawanda. We discovered 19 councillors with the NUP ticket fell short in the speakership race. We have the names of the 19. But then parties and justice is a process. I can tell you that a few months ago, we developed the code of conduct. We have also established the disciplinary committee. Now, these reports will definitely go to those institutions, because those will be the institutions to give final ruling on the fate of those colleagues of ours. We do not want to act with impunity. We want to act through the whims and rims of the Constitution of the National Unity Platform, in consonance with the Constitution of Uganda, with due respect and regard to the Multi-Party Organizations Act. Because we don't want tomorrow to have lots and lots of litigation simply because we did not follow the law to the letter, and yet we have time and can follow the law to the letter. We have a few elements in the leadership, in the party, that have not aligned themselves to understanding our core values. Our core values that many other people do not know, by the way. And I think I will request maybe for us to get some other time and come and teach about our core values, the drifts: discipline, fidelity, inclusiveness, service, fidelity, service, discipline, inclusiveness. If you don't have that on your fingertips as a member of the National Unity Platform, if you don't have the drifts, then your challenge of understanding what we stand for, you will fall short of that. And I believe as members of the National Unity Platform, we must come out always as a team and unified as a people so as to manage and follow the dictator with cohesion. But this division that comes within, it is very disturbing even for us, because you are on so many occasions pushed to go and give answers on behalf of others that you are not responsible about. To people who move with Honorable Chagulanyi and they come up with different statements, the party chose official persons to give communication on their behalf. The president is a president of Ugandans, and we always give him liberty and opportunity to face so many people. He takes photographs with different people, even strangers, because they are strangers to him, but he is not a stranger to them. He's their president. So we cannot stop them from accessing him as supporters, despite that we have a lot of bottlenecks and processes. Now, many people have used that as an advantage. Somebody comes around the president, others have come and gone, being bought by the state. Others have come because they have personal interests, and where those personal interests have fallen short, they have decided that we are not right. They have gone against us. Others have aligned themselves to us to simply tap the numbers and get the space to come and lambast us. Now, we are aware of all that. What is important is to have the president secure from those people. Anybody who comes and makes statements that don't fall in the values of the National Unity Platform, even when he is close to the president, that person should be treated as a person who is working for the longevity of Genome 7. Because if you are around the president, then you must reciprocate the character of the president. But I know they are elusive people, they are excited young people, but we continue to talk to them, we continue to teach them, we continue to build their capacity. We are cognizant of that. On the members of parliament, the reason we had a retreat was also to enhance and discuss these issues. And yes, we did discuss these issues. We are on the same page, and we expect that this year will extremely be better than next year. I want also to urge all those members who think that blackmailing others is an addition to the struggle. I want to tell you it is a subtraction to the struggle. There are people we have lost in this struggle simply because they were chased out of the struggle by others. And we do not want to be the ones to give Genome 7 people, and yet we are supposed to be getting people from him. I want to urge all of you members of the diaspora, the strongest force in the world is unity. If you look at how much we have moved with you people, all doing their roles the way you've been doing them, cohesively, it speaks on the truth that when we are united, we can ably get to where we want to get. I know there is egocentrism. People are egocentric, and that is natural. There's an assumption of might. Somebody will think that, you know, now I am big, I can do whatever I want to do, but you're big, you're not big. Don't lie to yourself. This is a struggle of Ugandans against Museveni. So people must realize that we can only be big, including me, when Genome 7 has fallen. So for you who thinks that you're going to castigate others out of the struggle for your personal might, you're very wrong, you're mistaken, and we shall not allow that. That is a very firm position on that.
All right. So, okay. Now, thank you very much for that. Now, there's something I've realized in the struggle, that we don't have so much information about what is happening in the rest of the country. We have so much information about what is happening in Buganda region, or let's say central region, but we don't know a lot that is happening in the western part of Uganda, a lot that is happening in the eastern part of Uganda, and north as well as these other parts. Whereas I do understand the fact into what way visible for maybe to get. For example, if you're speaking about the education system, that okay, schools have been reopened, those are general problems that we all face as a country. But then these regions, they also have unique problems. And this brings me to a very important aspect. Whereas in Buganda region, people could be speaking about problems within the Buganda kingdom and how Museveni has mishandled and, tried to play politics with the kingdom and played politics with religion and stuff like that. There's an event that happened in Eastern Uganda, and this is where I want to have your opinion on the matter, given the fact that you come from Eastern Uganda, that most people might not have followed the story that was making rounds on social media. I've seen that the Chabazinga has said that it is not true or whatever, but it is said that the clan leaders, I think in Busoga, you will clarify on the matter, they voted the Chabazinga out. Now, some people might look at it as a non-issue that is, not. You should explain to the people why that issue matters for Ugandans who are change seeking and change loving Ugandans. Why that matters, and to your understanding as a person who comes from Eastern Uganda, for that matter, who comes from Busoga, is there any politics at play in weakening the institution of the Chabazinga in Eastern Uganda? And what does this mean for the politics of Busoga as well as Eastern Uganda going forward? And then I would come to another question that one of the listeners put forward about Pastor Mwanguzi and the mobilization and things of that sort. But first, give us your view and tell Ugandans why the events in Busoga Kingdom really matter for the struggle as well as for Uganda.
First of all, I speak about this with a very heavy heart because it concerns us all as people from Busoga. It is a bitter shaming. That is a fact. I was the first personal assistant to the first Prime Minister of Busoga, of this kingship, Dr. Mbawala. And I know where we came from to having His Royal Highness Nadiope Gabula Wilberforce the Fourth on being consecrated to the kingdom. Bwemba nzijukiza bannayuganda nti Kyabazinga oyo yatuuzibwako wakati mu kulwanagana okw'amaanyi era okwafiiramu abantu, ng'era waaliwo okuvuganya okwali okw'amaanyi ne Nadiope. Ne Nadiope waliwo okuvuganya okw'amaanyi ennyo n'abeekaliro era ababadde bagamba nti kati balonze omulala Columbus. Now, Busoga is made of 11 hereditary clans. Now, all of these sit to create the Obachabazinga. Now, out of these 11, they choose from 5. They choose from Kaliro, they choose from Luukatabingwa, they choose from Bugweri, they choose from Gabla, and they choose from the Basigini. Now, those 5 clans where the royals come, they can all produce a prospect Kyabazinga. Abo bonna mwezo 5 ziri 11 ez'abalangira naye mu 5 mwe muva ayina okubeera ki Kyabazinga. Kyova olaba owulira amannya 2, owulira erya Columbus n'owulira n'eryani n'eya Nadiope, kubanga Columbus ye mutabani wa Kyabazinga eyaliko eyafa eyassa omukono ono alyoke Waako. Kati Waako ye taata wa Columbus. Kakati
and Gabula is he a grandson of Nadiope, the one of 1962?
Gabula is the grandson of Nadiope, the one of 1962. Yes. Now, as a result of that, we had as a kingdom, we had the processes. General Museveni yali awagira Columbus. Fe nga tuwagira Gabula. Abasoga era gabula gali maanyi g'abantu agamutuuza ku ntebe gy'alamuliramu olwaleero wadde General Museveni twamusinza amaanyi n'amala ne yeetaba ne ku mikolo egyo naye that was not his preferred candidate. First things forward, bayanguwa mangu ffe bawaiswa abaalina dissenting views mu bwakyabazinga okutandika obutarecognizing waka waffe n'okuba nga twali bye tuwaayo ng'ebirowoozo tebikyabayingibwa. And later on, the formation of people power did not help. That made my communication and the kingship really very difficult. Why am I driving all that and the background? Is to tell people that what is at play in Busoga is real politics, such that obuwanguzi Kyagulanyi bwe yafunayo taddamu bufunayo in anything. General Muhoozi yakuriyetinga omukwano ne Kyabazinga waffe. Naye omukwano ogwo nga guli plastic era gwafa tegukyaliwo. Kakati abantu abali balowoozebwa nti be bali bakwatiridde obwa Kyabazinga yali omukyala Rebecca alitwala Kadaaga. Ng'era baali balowooza Abasoga bavaayoko ne bagamba nti tetukyetaaga na kuyita Museveni ku mikolo gyaffe, tulinawo sipiika, tulinawo Kadaaga y'anaaba ng'omugenyi omuki omukulu. Anite Amongo, Deputy Speaker wa Parliament, yafumbira omusajja bamuyita Magogo, naye musajja w'ebuyende musajja Musoga. Batandika okukola emikolo e Kamuli, era Fazil njagala kugamba olwaleero nti Anita Amongo kati yeeyita Mama Busoga ewaffe Busoga. Kubanga ayagala okuddira mu bigere bya Rebecca alitwala Kadaaga, kati ne basala oluwenda nga bakozesa abamu mu ba elements abali ewa Kyabazinga, kuba Kyabazinga takyayogera na Muhoozi. Njagala munfune bulungi. Kati Muhoozi anoonya Kyabazinga tamufuna. Alowooza nti yakomyewo waba Waiswa. Asindika abamu ku bakulembeze mu Kingdom okumakinga sure nti basobola okutabangula Kingdom, addemu abeere ne grip ne General Muhoozi abeere ne grip ne Kyabazinga waffe we Busoga. Mu bantu be bakozesezza amannya tetukyagakweka mulimu omusajja bamuyita Osman Abdul Nur, akola nga Deputy Prime Minister wa Kingdom. Era mu bufu obwo bwe bumu kati politics ali at play, kubanga abalangira baffe abasinga tebalinaamu ki sente. Museveni yagaana otuddiza ebyaffe, so they are not doing well financially. I want to be very polite and say the truth. Kakati esente nga bw'omanyi General Museveni baali babawaayo emmotoka n'amafuta tebakyakola ki tebakyagasobola kuba akabonero k'obugagga mmotoka. Kati abalangira abo abamu balwanira niceties ezo ezibeerawo ezijja nga zijja okubabeezaawo, buli bwe zirekera okuba nga teziriiwo gavumenti eyingiramu abo n'eteekawo obutakkaanya nga bwe yateekawo mu kusooka ng'ono tumuleeta, kubanga era mu kusooka yateekawo embeera yonna bw'oba muzeeyo ne mufuna that history okulaba nti Nadiope tatula ku ntebe. Kakati ekiriwo era kyenjagala bannayuganda wano muwulirizeewo nnyo, nakyemalira buli muntu yenna akuŋŋaanya abantu nga tabakuŋŋaanya ku lulwe aba takyamwagalawo. Olwaleero bwa Kyabazinga tubadde tumaze okubuzimba ng'abantu batandise okuburecognizinga massively era nga barecognizinga the role they can play. Kye yasooka okukola nga tubuildinze those numbers and people to believe in the institution, yasooka na interactinga ne Kyabazinga waffe ne tumugamba nti obuzibu bwe Busoga bwavu era twagala okumalawo obwavu mu mulembe omugabula. Fazil Mayanja General Museveni ajoga. Kye yakola yamugamba abeere mukozi we mu ofisi ye, ne babajjayo akameeza awo ne bamuwa ne bamugamba ojja tuulanga awo okumalawo obwavu mu Busoga. Kyabazinga akulaga olwo amunafuya, okumunafuya nti ne mu bantu abamumazeeko amaanyi gakola ki gayina. So eno yemu ku nkola ya General Museveni yemu ku nkola ya General Museveni gy'alina ezza abantu abasobola okuŋŋaanya abantu okuba buso babuulira ekituufu kasita oba nga tobakola for his name and his existence abajja kumalawo. Ekyokubiri, an attack on these traditional institutions is systematic. We don't have cultural institutions in Western Uganda. The one of Bunyoro, you and me know that it is nearly not existence because of the handwork of the NRA. You know his comments about the King of Toro. At one time, the King of Toro even said he was going to fast. But General Museveni said, let him go and fast such that that belly is cut a little bit. He was growing too fat. He is replying all that to a king, diminishing their existence. General Museveni does not believe in these monarchies. What is disturbing, he doesn't believe in monarchies, but he is creating a dynasty. Because between me and you, what is breaking the kingship of Busoga is simply because the king is not in good books with General Muhoozi. And now General Muhoozi and the Anites, because Anite took on the mantle of selling General Muhoozi in Uganda, they want to come to Busoga, blackmail the Chabazinga, such that they throw him to the side of General Muhoozi and they move their Muhoozi project. And we want to thank the Chabazinga. He has remained fought, he has stood firm on his legs, and I hope this time, if we maintain that stand, Busoga is going up in greater heights. So, ekintu kye Busoga kinene, nga bwe nkikunyonyodde tuli mu lutalo si lutono era kikoze bulungi n'olubuuza naye tujja duvunduka.
Okay, lastly on that particular issue, is the election that the clan heads held any binding? Is it legitimate, or are they going to contest it?
Many of them on that team you saw were imposters. In fact, they have an offense. Some of them even have an offense of selling clan land worth 1.2 billion shillings. But those are nitty-gritties that are back home. So many of those who you saw on the media, they have a lineage in the clans, but they are not the ones that are supposed to perform those duties. Those duties are performed by people abantu aba baliko mandwa. Kati gwe ko balaba bafaanana nga baliko mandwa.
Yeah. Now, okay. Now there's a viewer who asked an important question. No, before actually I go to that, there is something that I came across, because we all know that Busoga region, Eastern region, is one of the tourist destinations of Uganda. Like, so many people come to Jinja and all the source of the Nile and stuff like that. Like, literally, there is so much that usually happens in this particular area. So in this particular part of the country, very, very important. Now, speaking about tourism, there is something I saw last week. Museveni Chair launches something called Destination Uganda, something to deal with tourism. That trying to okufuna abalambuzi nti bajje visiting Uganda, bajje balambule Uganda and all this kind of stuff. Because you who is in the communication docket of the party, and us who are in the diaspora and who are looking at these things happening, the kidnaps, the arrest of Segirinya Muhammad and Alan Sewanyana, is Uganda really a destination that Museveni should be promoting for people to go and visit? Now, I do understand, of course, that to us, that doesn't look right, okay? But then, to him, of course, he needs the money, in one way or the other. So that's why I would ask a question. Why? What should we do? What should we do? And what would be the party position? Because, Mr. Waiswa, there is this argument that I've actually faced with so many people. People are saying that some people who are not so much into following the events in the country, they are like, guys, time for politicking is done. People need to make money, take their children back to school. People need to make money and take and all this kind of stuff. And then we have all these sectors, is tourism, education, health, and all these other sectors that drive the economy. The sectors should get up and running. And some people are like, no, guys, politics is done. Let us now do business. What is the party position? should we do business? Should we go back to work? Should we be promoting Uganda, like these things that the Musevenis are putting out in terms of tourism and all this kind of stuff? Because most people would push back on the party and you and say that, okay, guys, okay, you are trying to say that mwagala kukolera Uganda nungi, but programs in Gazino is that tourism, is abantu okuva mu and all this kind of stuff, you're bashing them. So what would be your take on such arguments abantu zebateeka out there nti we are just into maybe tuzanya kiremya oba party ezanya kiremya in one way or the other, and what should we do for us who are out here, especially to help in disseminating this information that you would like us to disseminate in one way or the other? I don't know if it makes sense, but I've tried my best.
I want to urge Ugandans in the diaspora to desist it, to resist it, not to engage in anything that adds Museveni's existentiality in Uganda. And that one, I want to be very clear. Anything that makes Museveni stay here for another day is not something the National Unity Platform should accept and support. Secondly, all those things you see are diversions that they are launching. The middle button. They are launching the assumption that they are launching all whatever they say they are launching is a lie. All those are scams that take a lot of public resources in processes of launching them, but they never go anywhere. It is a matter of him meeting with his niece. His niece tells him the program. They give them the money, or a daughter or a sister, and then they come to Kololo and unveil without a plan. Because you had, what was the plan that they had? They have no plan. It's a matter of making him the old man available. It is a ceremonial process. It is not what Ugandans must achieve. Because if you want to have your country as a destination, you're competing with countries like Kenya. What is Kenya doing? Kenya, those who are talking about politics are not simply aware. In Uganda, we are still living on the infrastructure facile of the colonialists. We are living on the infrastructure of the colonialists. We have no new road. The only new road we have is the Entebbe Express Highway, and it went for as exorbitant as $2 million per kilometer. Unprecedented. So if you're going to run away from politics, because politics determines governance, politics determines the infrastructure, politics determines the health policy, politics and determines the education, politics determines governance. Now, you must understand that General Museveni has mastered the projectivity of always bringing things that create as if he's doing something, but he's always doing nothing. So to say that we should do business, Uganda should not do business, not until it is in the right hands, because even the money that comes out of that tourism facility is not reciprocated on the ground. The greatest challenge we have today is a dictator, is a man who has no rule of law, is a group of bandits who are not exposed, and therefore the right thing to do is to focus first on how we liberate ourselves from that group. Because even if we came tomorrow, Fazil, we will not enjoy our country the way we are supposed to. We shall only set a foundation for the future, which has been long, long overdue. So my position on that is that I'm not agreeable, because I know it is a hoax. There's nothing they are going to sell. You know, they have brought an issue of buy Uganda, build Uganda. They have not followed suit of the same. It is the same, it's the deceitful. I want people to understand that General Museveni is a deceitful person who can never put in place anything that he has said. A man who didn't give you money for food when you were in time of need and the money had been passed, which infrastructure does he have to manage tourism? In Jinja, Jinja has the potential to even annually have returns of over $200 million annually. $200 million in terms of tourism, because we have the source of the Nile, we have both Lake Victoria and River Nile in Jinja, in Busoga. We have, on top of that, we have the different waterfalls. Forget about those idiots who went and removed our Bujagali Falls in the name of a bogus energy project of Bujagali. Because we believe if Bujagali had not been tampered with and we collectively did what we were supposed to do, we could, as Busoga, even collect over $300 million of tourism. Now, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. But because our systems leaving Kampala to Jinja, apparently I'm now in Kampala. But if I wanted to leave for Jinja, it is 80 kilometers Fazil. I don't know how fast you move that side. 80 kilometers, I need 6 hours in Kampala to move 80 kilometers. Now, which tourism are you promoting? When the tourist center of Jinja needs 6 hours to reach there.
Oh God. Yes, Waiswa, tuchakuwulira. Otuwulira eh? Okay. Network. Once again, I think. Now, we are going into our final segment. So, what I will do here is muweereze ebibuuzo byammwe, mukube essimu, omukulu agenda biwuliriza, and wanaaba akomyewo agenda kuddamu ebibuuzo. But make your questions straight to the point and be straight to the point and brief as possible. So, if you have any questions. Hello? Hold on. Just a minute. Chip. Just 1 minute. Hold on just a minute, please. I'm just trying to connect you on my Bluetooth so that okay. All right, so okay, yes, sir. Kale nyabo.
Era twebaza omulimu gw'okola tusiimira ddala abatasimba baleke abo batuwaani buwaani naye tusiima nnyo eno ku gulawundi waffe bandagwamu tusiima nnyo. Ekibuuzo kyange kiri emirimu egimu egyagabibwa girabika abamu
netwaka ye bulamu awo nnyabo tereramu katono emirimu egimu egyakola ki
ekibuuzo kyembuuza bw'ogenda ku mirimu egyo waliwo woogera nga tebakukkiriza kukola mulimu ogwo oba obugendesebo engeri mwamu abantu abamulina abamwetoolodde aiza Mwami Kyagulanyi muwanvu nnyo bw'ati ate abamwetoolodde si esaizi esaana okuba nti kugamba okumukuuma. Nze wano wendi ndi ku bya security naye teti like bw'aba akuumibwa ndabanga abagula nnyo nti kompeyinize n'abagikuta omu ogenda okulaba nga akuma Mwami Kyagulanyi naye ng'ali eri maaso ye yageze dda abalala nga batunudde eri baggulawo nnyo ate bwe baba ne ku gundi bw'oba balaba abantu ne bamwetooloola mangu awo otherwise agoberwamu kikomplenizeeko emirundi mingi babituusa tebabituusa simanyi lwaki Mwami Kyagulanyi ekintu ekyo yennyini ng'omuntu takiraba nammwe ababiramundi ku videos ngezo lwaki muba temulaba ekyo security ya Mwami Kyagulanyi kyeri so low.
Kale network esimbamu kati ekibuuzo kifunye ekibuuzo kiri ku security ya Mwami Kyagulanyi
n'abantu beyalondo bamikwano gyo bakibampi nnyo tekigambula essebo
kale ngena kyogerayo tweyanziza nnyo security abantu beyalonda bampi nnyo. Okay, all right, so If Waiswa comes back, I'm going to cover them bibuuzo now. So, sagala kumala budde bungi nnyo.
Fazili, salamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Nze ndi Uganda faayo nnyo njogere ku mpewo nina kye njagala ottangaza ekijjotto yange.
Hello? Hello?
Fazil.
Yeah?
How are you, sir?
I'm fine. How are you?
Thanks for the program.
You're welcome.
My name is John. I'm calling from UK. Today I will use English for the purposes of this program. My simple question to Honorable Waiswa Mufumbiro is, in our constitution, no constitution, do we have avenues where we can stipulate to record MPs with all this propaganda which has been going around that, oh, there is a fight, some MPs ate money? In our party constitution, is there any way, remedy, MP can be recalled and fresh elections held in case is breaching party constitution mechanism or methods operandi, so that we curb out any suspicious, sell out from any MPs who may be bribed in future? Nga balaba bayinza okulya akasente. Waliwo engeri kankize mu lunyaanyimbe, waliwo engeri mu constitution yaffe gye tuyinza okukomako ba MP bano nga tuyita mu constitution just ng'akatego nti singa tokola kiti, these are the avenues you can be recalled. You all remember NRM bwe yalina ba rebel MPs the likes of Sechikubo, blah blah blah. Constitution yafeeyo provisions were ziri just as a safeguard measure to create royalty, n'okukuumirawo royalty okubanga bannabyabufuzi tebakozesa kibiina nga kadaala okwetuusa mu buyinza ate ne bamala ne badizaatinga ebirowoozo by'aba abantu. Kati another question goes to Honorable Waiswa Mufumbiro as well. Nze mu ndaba yange, I think we need, since he's the deputy spokesperson and he still holds the position of head of patriotism and training, how engeri social media activists or bloggers, much as there is no any signed contract with them, they can abo bonna abayisaawo enjiri ng'erabika ya National Unity Platform or People Power, how they can be streamlined, even though they balina contracts, naye nga party eyinza okumakinga their stand. Tugezaako okukola mu kino nga nze ngamba twewale abantu abajja okujja okusooka bagisa abantu nti bali ku nkyukakyuka ate okutandika nga bwe tulaba waliwo kakyano ka NRM Soma aka UNN nga bakosambulera, naye nga bw'otunulira programs zaabwe zonna omulamu abagumala, they are blackmailing His Excellency Kyagulanyi and blackmailing National Unity Platform. Nga deba analysts baabwe bonna whom they bring on their platforms like Jakana Naduli, their sole whatever being on that platform is just to demoralize and attack the person of His Excellency Kyagulanyi. Kati nga mwekyo tusaba head of patriotism and training Honorable Waiswa Mufumbiro babeerewo n'ekiwandiiko ekiri clear how we can say nti ono wadde byakola naye kale tumulabire ku bikolwa bye naye tali naffe, si kyateeka nti buli kyayogera okuba oyambadde akakoofiira nti kitegeeza gwoyogerera National Unity Platform. Nga na mu kino mukulu Fazil ompulira
ng'omaliriza
nga mmaliriza nga na mu kino ne ba foot soldiers bannyini abali ku ground abalina media platforms ze bakozesa mbadde nga ngenda nkiraba owulira nga ndaba bakola mu programs, abamu bakola live programs, naye ng'olaba they are portraying a bad image of the party, kuba they are half-baked in terms of analysis, in terms of level of debate, nga nina be sijja kwogera mannya, naye nga olw'ensonga nti guno omugendo everyone entered People Power is a free entry, buli omu nga His Excellency bwe yagamba, everyone let them be a Kyagulanyi. But nkirabamu nti mba foot soldiers baffe abamu naddala bali ku media platforms, they are doing a misrepresentation of the party, they are doing diversionary. Ng'ekyo mbadde nkisaba Honorable Waiswa Mufumbiro ne Mr. Joel Ssenyonyi balabe, much as these people are not fully signed to National Unity Platform, bakola bwa nakyewa but they can come up with method operandi eziyinza okuguidinga ebintu bino ebitransmittingibwa nti bw'oba tomanyi byabufuzi like Faziru Mayanja tokola program nosawo open roof abantu ne bajja ne boogera ebyabwe n'okuwulira oli scenario ng'avuga ku live ye oyo gundi oyo mwami Faziru yali nnyonyi n'agenda e Uganda nga tebamukwata ekitegeeza mu nnyambi. So bino ebintu bino ate n'olaba nga tulinamu abantu baffe ababibayinga. Faziru Mayanja ali nnyonyi yagenda e Uganda tebamukwata kitegeeza akolera mu 7 nz'obiseera bisinga mbakyerenjiga ne mbabuuza nga Joel Ssennyonyi nga Honorable Waiswa Mufumbiro gye bali ate nga basabula mu 7 left right center bonga gye bali e Uganda. Kati ekyo nkisaba Honorable Waiswa Mufumbiro bakolewo streamline kuba tulina okubuzaabuzibwa. Nze tisobola kubuzaabuzibwa naye ndaba waliwo abantu be babuzaabuza. Webale nnyo ssebo. Thanks.
Okay, welcome. Let's keep it short, guys. Tulinda omukulu akomewo. Hello? Yes, sir.
Ekibuuzo kyange mpozi njagala kubuuza mukulu Waiswa Mufumbiro, deputy spokesperson, simanyi nti kino kibuuzo kimugwanire naye kateeka ki gyenyinza okugamba nti foreign policy okulaba nti tulina kati e Uganda ensi za Africa nyingi nnyo zeetaaga okununula, especially okwenunula okuva ku badictator n'okwenunula ddala okuva ku bafuzi b'amatwale abanyuunyunsi. Kati tuyinza kukola tutya okulaba nti enjiri eno ya president waffe oba eya Nuupu gy'ereese nti Uganda tulina Abafirika okulaba nga tusaasaanya enjiri eyo mu nsi za Africa ezituliraanye nabo bennyini okutuyamba kati ng'ensi ezirimu demokrasi nga Kenya, kati tulina Zambia, Zambia tukoze tutya okulaba nti batuyamba naffe okwenunula ku nakyemalira oba naffe okusaasaanya enjiri yaffe mu Africa okulaba nti tununula Africa yonna okutwaliza awamu. Mwebale nnyo ssebo.
Okay. All right. Okay. Malaya masimu manju oba toyiseemu, just keep trying. Hello?
Hey, I'm back with some question of something that you actually were highly interested in the past.
Yeah,
in the past, you were quite very interested in the Noop media, like the websites. I don't know how far they have gone with those, because those are also part of the strategy that we need to use.
The website, they made some changes. They actually made very big changes. And if you visit the website, man, it's really class now, better than it was previously. It's really much better.
Okay, then that is great. Now, okay, on top of that, is there any way they can revamp and revive Ghetto TV in a way whereby we get regular updates and some kind of regular updating of a Facebook page, whatever name they call it, but if they call it Noop Media, or like some updates coming in every time they have a press conference or any major events? Because the challenge we have is that if we don't have a strategic place or a central point of information from Noop Party, we get bloggers trying to do that work. And when bloggers come, they mix with their own opinions and their own feelings. So if you can ask Waiswa what they are planning on that, so that when a blogger comes, we have something to verify what they are saying, something official from the party, apart from Bobby Wine's page. Because Bobby Wine's page, I know he does a lot of work, but if we had people who are dedicated to doing just that, it would be very important, especially for you guys who are doing blogs, so you can actually quote directly from them.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, bye-bye.
Cheers. Okay, network problems. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, please.
Hello?
Jebaleko mukulu Mayanja.
Naye jebale sebo.
Webale kuweereza nsi.
Naye webale kuwuliriza.
Okay, naye nze ngenda kwogera ku nsonga zange bbiri briefly.
Please.
waliwo kola kubye n'agamba nti balina okusensaringa oba okustreamlininga abaana azin oyo naavayo okurepresentinga iwe gundi NUP ne doctrines zaabwe. Naye Fazil, hello.
Yes, yogera sebo tukuya.
Tulina obuzibu nti tulina narratives ezimu ze tulina okukyusaamu. That's if tugenda kukola a successful revolution inclusive ku buli muntu. For example, tutunulira omukulu Kyagulanyi ne NUP. Tetugenda tambuliranga ku narrative nti mwena mwebereremu. Wogamba nti mwena mwebereremu. Olinga kwegamba owadde buli omu okukola kyasobola. Then oba tokyalina authority egamba oli nti kino kyewakoze kibi oba kikuba tewamuteerawo guidelines. Okitegeera? Nze mbadde ngamba buli revolution yonna ne woba oyagala otya abantu okwebereramu, teri revolution etabeerako directives zaoyo oyo spearheadings ekintu. Olina okuteekawo rhythm, then the majority will dance to that rhythm. Bw'ogamba nti tugenda ku kino mwena mwebereremu ku mulamwa guno bwe guti ne bwe guti, so that abantu obawa a framework of action. Osegedde mukulu. Naye tetugenda tambuliranga ku narratives nti mwena mwebereremu. No. You're giving general statements ezitalina any framework egenda okudirectinga n'okulimitinga actions z'abantu ku kintu ekimu. Then ku issue y'abablogger, nze mbadde ngamba nti obudde buli too late omuntu okundowoozesa nti NUP temanyanga nti revolution yonna okugenda maaso okugetinga fruits erina okuba ne media. But here is a party nga NUP ebadde erina blessing ya Katonda nti ebintu byonna byeyandibadde efuna ng'esasulidde sente empitirivu ebifunye at free will. Kubanga Fazil tosasulwa sente kuweereza bintu bino. Si bwe guli?
Yes.
Ne babuloga abalala bangi naye nze kinebunyisa nnyo lwaki NUP te owninga babloggers abamu negamba nti Faziru Chemical Ali Lumbuye abo bantu baffe be bali gazetted era kyonna kyoyagala ekikwatagana we tuyisa information no olaba loophole eryawo. Then ekibuuzo nanjagadde okubuuza mukulu Waiswa.
Ekisembayo sebo kuba obudde
okay. Nja kubuuza mukulu Waiswa nti mukulu Waiswa kyemmanyi okimanyi bulungi nnyo nti type of governance gye tulimu eri unitary. Naye in most cases unitary governments zino zibreedinga nnyo ba dictator. Olw'ensonga nti unitary ekwata powers n'ezikwasa omuntu omu baka group k'abantu. In most cases, given the characters and the influence of power, buttoning up okubeera ba dictator. Ekitegeeza nti bw'afuuka dictator, mwesanga mu kaseera akazibu nti afuuka dictator mu legal system ya unitary. Zikyembuuza Waiswa, mulowooza temwakola nsobi mmwe nga mukitegedde nti omusajja ono ddala dictator nga ye mwamukristninga, lwaki mwakkiriza okugenda mu maaso okumulegalizing? You legitimized him kasita mwamuwa wing ya opposition, kubanga mu democratic template yonna abazungu gye batambulirako tutegera nti waliwo fundamentals ezikola democratic government. Senga opposition tebeera ku party ya democratic government teba democracy era oyo tumuwa full percent nti dictator. I think ekintu ekyo mwakolamu ensobi. That's why right now nwe tukola zi hashtags ki fe perception gye tulina ku dictator betukabira si gye bamulinako kubanga is a legal dictator.
Kale tweyanza
kweba nnyo sebo.
Hello?
Yes, mkulu Fazil, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Gundi King Assad. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Kakati, I just want to add onto those points that people were adding about social media for no. We even submitted, I think, was way back, almost like 6 months ago. The only way we can be able to succeed is finding ways to combine the voice in terms of sharing and distributing information, and also try to stop this issue of propaganda, whereby it was more of a proposal to see if NUP as a party can actually accept responsibilities in terms of ownership of contents, whereby they would say, okay, I think it's exactly what the other people are actually saying in the NUP or never and government talk about no never in terms of like recognition, and in terms of like filtering information, or it's whereby you would actually have like a streamlined properly that the people would know, okay, this information is coming from this person and that this information is coming from that person, and it's approved from NUP. And I know Waiswa is listening to me. Waiswa Mukulu era nkomawo mu inbox yonga bulijjo. I am going to bother on this issue, and I think we've talked about it before. So we need to emphasize on it. Initially, we used to think it was just only a few people who are questioning about this, but there's so many people who would be willing to help, and I think this should be the first step if we need to look into things like fighting against these 70s propaganda, because the people we're fighting with, they're very vicious. They can manipulate information, and they can do this. And in the meantime, as NUP, there is like the resources, the free, the bloggers who are giving out their free time to do this, to do that. So I think it's very important to see NUP taking that part of recognizing it. Yeah, so I think that's all I needed to say. Thank you so much.
Cheers, thank you. Mukulu Waiswa, I think just kanfuneyo call omuwano. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Mugana wange Waiswa Mufumbiro ankulamusiza ssebo kojja omugezi wange.
Yes, sir.
Kojja omugezi
waliwo ekintu kye njagala okuleeta wano abantu kye batamanyi. National Unity Platform is a party, and it's not an opposition party, it's an optional party. Ekyo kigambo nakijja ku muganda wange Waiswa Mufumbiro. Never forget nti tukyalina omusajja ono nga tumulwanyisa with using law and order and using all the tools available. Therefore, kati National Unity Platform nga a legitimate intent tesobola kuvaayo negamba kojja omugezi mu owninga, Faziru mu owninga, because for us we use blackmail and propaganda as our tool to fight these people. Okitegeera? So, ekintu kino nga Bobby bw'atugamba nti do everything in rabadaba style. Tugenda kukozesa style yonna yeetaagisibwa okubeera nga tuteeka dictator wansi. So bannange njagala obbagamba National Unity Platform tesobola keera kumakya negamba nti ekyoto nki owuninga, Lumbulye mu owuninga, kojja omugezi mu owuninga, because nze nkyanja keera kumakya nkoleko nsereko blackmail nga njagala mugoba ku internet because is misleading Ugandans. Okitegeera? Kati nga Waiswa Mufumbiro omusajja ali legally tajja ku owuninga kojja omugezi. Kubanze njakera kumakya nkozese blackmail as my way of fighting these people. Simanya ndowooza muntegeera bulungi.
Yes, tukutegeera. Kale.
N'ekirala nga mmaliriza Abannayuganda mukimanye nti tulwanyisa omusajja akozesa eyasooka n'akola kye tuyita risk assessment eri Bannayuganda, n'amanya weeks, n'amanya weakness yaffe, n'amanya loopholes zaffe. Okitegeera? So therefore, Waiswa Mufumbiro nabo bwe baddayo eri ne batuula ne Museveni ne bamukolako risk assessment, nabo balina engeri gye bamulwanyisaamu. So okwengeginga naye mu elections temulowooza nti baba balegitimizinze elections za Uganda oba baba legitimize electoral commission nti eri legit bo baliwo system kulabisa. I wish Ugandans can understand that.
Okay. Kale, thank you very much. Kale, kampe mukulu Waiswa. Let me get this one caller, Mr. Waiswa. I know your time bad, but let me just give you this one caller. Nakatono. Hold on. Hello, yes?
Yes, Amanda Covid kuva wano Germany.
Okay.
And anyway, mbali njagala kwa thought yange about one thing that Chempli twogera luzungu oba Luganda.
Whatever you feel comfortable.
Whatever I feel comfortable. Okay, I feel more comfortable with English. Anyway, I just wanted to give one comment about people who are saying, okay, the National Unity Platform has to come out and own some people, some bloggers, and disown some bloggers. As in, I don't see how that can be possible, because first of all, I mean, the fact that the National Unity Platform comes out and owns somebody, that doesn't mean that that person can't come out tomorrow or the day after that and leave the National Unity Platform and start talking against it. And then where will that leave us at the end of the day? And then people will be like, oh, the National Unity Platform came out and they own this person and now look at what they are doing. So it's kind of like impossible to track people. The social media is really free and we should leave that freedom to people. And I also had someone talking about that, I mean, Bobby Wine always says, the president always says we should kwebeleramu. I mean, it's true. You have to kwebeleramu because some of these things, we see them coming. Some of the people that come out and start talking against the National Unity Platform or against the president, we almost like see it coming. And then we are just standing there. I mean, you should kwebeleramu. You should not accept every information, except for that information that you know and you think is doing something to try and remove the dictator. For me, that's what I do. I listen to every information that I'm like, okay, this person, I can see where they're going, and then I stop listening to that. And when I feel like, okay, this person is relevant and is with me because this is what I want to achieve, and it looks like the information they are giving is legitimate, I follow them. And that's what everybody is supposed to do. We're supposed to look at the information, and then, yeah, I think everybody has to be left to do what they feel like they can do, because we all can't do the same thing. There are people who can protest, go on the streets. I can't protest to go on the street. I mean, it's not that I don't want to do it, but it's difficult for me. And the only thing that sometimes I can do is maybe write emails and stuff like that. Sometimes I don't even have time to listen to other bloggers. But when I do listen to other bloggers, I tend to listen to what they have to say, because that's all you can do.
Okay.
And then if you feel like you don't get anything out of it, you just have to move on.
Cheers. Okay, thank you very much. All right. So, Mr. Waiswa, while you are aware with the problem with your network, I think, I don't know if you have had some of the few questions that you can answer, because I just don't want to take so much of your time. We have just 10 minutes left, but you can give broad answers that can entangle most of the questions that have been asked. But I just wanted us to wrap this up, and maybe we could have you another time. Now, there's a person who raised okay, I'll take more calls. And as he comes back, because I want to wrap it up, and how about we just wrap it up and then leave questions for next time? But you can still send the questions, and we shall start with these questions perhaps Friday, because I don't want to take. We are a wee bit late. The show started very well, but technical problems that Mr. Waiswa has had from his side. Now we shall find means. So you can take questions, suggestions. He will watch the videos, and then he will answer most of these questions in our next live video. But if I can get him to wrap this up, it will be perfect. Yes, please. Yeah.
I'm getting back to my question. My question was twisted by a caller who came after me. What I meant by Honorable Waiswa Mufumbiro to try and streamline the bloggers was not aimed at gagging up, you know. We are encouraging bantu bangi bafuke ba bloggers bogerere enkyukakyuka naye kye tugamba ye nga akulira head of training and patriotism wabeewo guidelines biki bye tusuubira omuntu bw'okwata akasimuko nga wejeeyo nti oyogerera National Unity Platform kodi kize tulina okusuubiramu paka tulina ba blogger nga bw'olaba ebintu bye bakola kufa abali intelligent nga tulaba babeera batambulira NRM script.
So the thing is code of conduct, right?
Code of conduct na script ki eyenkyukakyuka. First of all kyetwagala ene blogger alina kusooka tubuulira achievement za NUP weetuuse nga nawe watandikidde kati ekirala mukulu Fazil ompulira ssebo. Hello?
Yes, tukuwulira.
Ekirala kyembadde ensaba mukulu Waiswa Mufumbiro simanyiyo oba mu mobilization with muntu wa watu mwami Nyanzi. Kiki tuyinza okukola to gain more momentum nga gye twalina luli nga tuli people power kwegamba nina ekifaananyi kye njagala ba leaders mostly abali elected abalina elective positions bakozese n'abo abatayitamu mu kalulu nga mukulu Waiswa Mufumbiro gwe babba. Nina kye njagala mbalabemu nga bakola ekintu kya Geno Bigiirwa Moses kyakola e Kamuli. Umbrella yaffe agiwanise kino twagala tulabe visibility ya revolution on the ground.
Mukulu Waiswa,
starting with the leaders. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, so comrade, so I do understand it has been a very, but it's all my problem. Kubanga twade tuinokutanika earlier and then you know things got messed up and then yeah. But what I was suggesting is like there are so many questions that have gotten here. They are all recorded on this live video. I wanted to give you these next 5 or 10 minutes, whatever, 6 minutes to wrap it. We wrap this up. Then what we're gonna do is we can have another 1 hour live video for you to answer most of these questions that are being asked by people. Maybe some other day, next week, you can find for us time in your busy schedule, sir. Find somewhere and fix us in so that you can answer most of these questions because people really have so many questions. If I show you the calls I have here, there are plenty. And what I will do is for those who have sent voice notes, I'm going to send them to Mr. Waiswa and he will adjust and then he will be able to answer them. That's if he gives us another chance to speak to us next week. But I would like to use this opportunity to give him final moments to so that we wrap this up. It is late in Uganda and something of that sort. If you have had any questions that have interested you, you can address them in the next, whatever, 8 minutes maybe as we wrap this up. And then we can have another Q&A session, perhaps maybe next week. Okay, over to you, Mr. Waiswa.
There are a lot of questions that have been asked. Unfortunately, I have really been bogged down by the internet services and later the power on the phone, but I'm back and I promise that I will avail time. In fact, I've just discovered 1 hour is not enough. I will do more consultations with you, Fazil, not on short notice. We can do 2 hours. We can do 2 hours and we can have an hour of our own conversation and then 1 hour for the callers. So I will look through it tomorrow and I'll confirm the day earlier than anticipated. Because I've also on this side not been very clear. I've not been following very closely because of different hitches that I believe will be cured next time when my technical team is around me always. I have actually not had all the questions, but I had something about Rwanda.
Actually, the Rwanda thing did not come up. Which Rwanda? Oh, yes. Yeah. It must have been about tribalism, I think, something of that sort. If you want to address it, you can throw it out there as well. So
now, on the issue of tribalism, the state has tried all through, from the start of when Kyagulanyi presented himself, to project him as a Kabaka Yeka person.
And he benefits this because he uses that as a tool to malign and blackmail our revolution outside the jurisdiction of Buganda, that it belongs to only Baganda. And when we, the members of the National Unity Platform, jump on the narrative of being tribal, then definitely we lose it because we want the whole country. But then I have also subscribed to the ideology that this must not be a tool by Genome 7 to stop Baganda from being assertive. Because every person who has an opportunity should be assertive to the cause of deposing the dictator. But blackmailing the struggle that it belongs to a particular sect of people, I think those people are very detrimental to us, and we must not give them an ear. Everybody must work towards the origin of this struggle, and it is anchored on the reality that we have a problem of Genome 7 that we all came together to overthrow. I didn't know you, Fazil. I did not know all those other comrades in the diaspora, but we came for a common cause. It's like going to class. You go to school not knowing those that are going to become your OBs or alumni. But when you go there, you find them and you finish the course. So the course, we are all moving together, not as friends, not as brothers, not as colleagues, but in unison of solving a particular problem that affects our society wholesomely. That is why that should always supersede any thought. If you feel you want to break this revolution, think about the things you claim to be standing for. If you're standing for zero tolerance to corruption, by breaking the revolution, have you resolved that? If you're standing for end of anarchy and by you blackmailing the revolution and leaving soldiers go everywhere, haywire as a result of frustration, are you adding a brick to the struggle? All of us who are in this family of National Unity Platform should be hospitable enough for one another and accommodate one another despite the discrepancy in whatever we believe in and the background of where we grew up from, because we're a collection of different people. There are those who grew up going to school. There are those who grew up hustling in the ghetto. There are those who grew up without fathers and mothers. There are those who grew up without even respecting their parents. But in this, we must respect one value, the value of unison in deposing the dictator. So the issue of tribalism, it affects people. I mean, I'm a Musoga. I am a very proud Musoga, and there's nowhere you'll find me minus saying that I'm a Musoga. But I should not use my being a Musoga to trample the revolution and my position that since I'm the deputy spokesperson, I'm a Musoga, therefore Musoga will reign. That will affect the Baganda and affect their energy towards fighting for this cause. And this has been Museveni and of course our other members of the opposition who have projected us as Baganda. But the National Unity Platform, both of members of parliament from Busoga and the Far East Uganda, the other members of parliament were simply cheated out of those elections because they wanted to drive that as the narrative. So tribalism is a bad vice. And it is part of the reasons why we are in this struggle to end tribalism. Therefore, we cannot be fighting to end tribalism and anchor in tribalism. We are the National Unity Platform. That entails that we are national in character. We are unity. We are unified as a people who are oppressed, and we have a platform that we all share to have the noble calling and the duty of following Genome 7, which is not an easy task. I have been also asked on the question of, I wanted to quickly talk about the issue of the international relations around East Africa. I have seen Kagame trot around the East African leaders. First, Genome Oz. First of all, he's doing it illegally. He is not mandated by the Constitution of Uganda as a serving army officer. As a serving army officer to represent Uganda on state visits. It's not anywhere, even in the UPDF. He is abusing his relationship with his father to spend government money on illegalities. That is number one. Number two, and this is to General Muhoozi, you will only campaign in the military. You will only campaign in the military. But even in the military, you are campaigning there while the soldiers you are campaigning against are not having their magazines on their guns. And that speaks so much to the mistrust that even in the military against you. So what he is doing is to create a picture that he has touched with the East African leaders. You know his position against Kagame, but we are alive to those machinations and those photo opportunities that he has attained, but can assure him that the decision of Uganda's president was decided, and it was decided against his father.
Okay, your parting shot on the entire show that we have held.
My parting shot to the entire show still comes out to the diaspora. I want to thank the diaspora for your effort. You have been you are a great team. You have worked on the finances to the level that General Museveni believes that the National Unity Platform is funded by foreigners. But it has been the rise up of Ugandans who have come out with $1, who have come out with $2, who have come out with $100, $1 million, whatever that everybody has contributed. Thank you very much. But the cause that brought us together just got started. We need more energy. We need more formidability. We need more cohesion. We must work together. There is no reason whatsoever. There is no reason whatsoever we cannot work together to take away a problem. We must accept. We must not be egocentric. We must not think about ourselves. We must not think that we are mighty. Because our might is based on one line, that we are removing Genome 7. So if we all fail, we shall all be failures. If we succeed, we shall all be successful people. So let us unite to this cause. Baganda bange mwena abali mu diaspora njagala kubasaba okubeera obumu mmwe nga bwe mwalaba nga twali bumu mu campaign trail ne musobola okunoonya ssente nga ffeno bwe tutambula ne zitutambuza ne munoonya zi bulletproof nga ze twetaaga omukulembeze n'aba nga akuumiddwa bulungi. It is because mwali united. Manyi ti olutalo buli bwe luwangaala nga mulwana abamu batandika okuvaamu omukisa ogulowooza nti bisoboka. Kyenjagala obakakasa era nga Faziru kino nabagamba ne oli nti musobola kitwala mu bank. Ffe abali eno be mwesiga ne mwazika obukulembeze buno obw'okutetenkanya n'okulafubana nti General Museveni tumujja mu office. Njagala kubakakasa, we are going to do that, and we are doing that. What is remaining is that day when everybody will celebrate, finally, when we have deposed and toppled the dictator. But it is going to be easier when we are united. It is going to be easier when the diaspora is speaking one voice. I want to request all of you guys there who have those small petty issues in your mind, forget about them. If you have fallen on any ideological principle, stand up, dust yourself off, forget about the past, and we move forward, because we cannot afford. There's nothing our generation will explain to our grandfathers that we failed to remove Genome 7. Age is on our side, the people are on our side, luck is on our side, and time is on our side. The rest of the things that are bogging down the revolution are petty, and they should be dismissed. For all those who believe that you cannot work with another, then I think you're lost in this struggle, and you should find yourself quickly, because nobody should assume that their personal and egocentric interests are going to stop the formidability of this struggle moving forward. We know what we are facing. We have decided to face it like heads on. We are only requesting our colleagues that, because you just imagine if your voices were not there. How many people would be dead today in Uganda? If they can kill 54 people and assume it is a small number, I don't know where you are in my brother Fazil, how many people need to die for everybody to be up and saying what's happening. But here, Genome 7 killed, on his own admission, 54. So you cannot afford to be wherever you are and create division that is going to take us behind in removing Genome 7. That is not acceptable, and that we shall not tolerate.
Okay.
And as I finalize, this is my quotation from Nelson Mandela.
Yes, sir.
Nelson Mandela said that it is not true that your enemies should be our enemies. Okay? That your friends should be our friends. Life is a position of interest. You may be my enemy, but our main goal and our main interest that makes us friends is removing Genome 7. That must be the yardstick of all of us. Whenever you want to break away from this struggle, remember that I may not necessarily need to be your friend. I may be your sworn enemy, but I'm on your side fighting to remove the single denominator and the problem. That should be the driving force. Thank you very much, Fazil, for this evening. It has been a very constructive on my side. I have been able to learn something. I wish I would listen much to the people. And let's work together. Let's advise each other. Let's roll out together. Let us find ways of how best we can depose this dictator. It is not going to be an individual job. It is a team job. It is a NUP team job. Thank you very much, my brother.
Cheers. Thank you very much for the for sacrificing your time and giving us this wonderful opportunity to host you. It really means a lot for our viewers and us as a platform. All right, Abalabi, Namwe, thank you very much. Let us meet next week. I'll be speaking to Mr. Waiswa to see if he can create time for us to come back and answer the questions that you have put forward.
I will definitely create time.
Indeed, we shall be grateful if you do that. Okay, guys, thank you and have a good evening. Okay, bye. Bye-bye.